Hi everyone, this is Brandy. Welcome back to my channel. First thing I want to do is thank Tracie Fox for featuring my YouTube channel in her magazine. If y'all have not checked out her magazine, the Foxy Rag, I will put a link below so you can go check it out. It's a great magazine. It features some artists, some Etsy shops, some YouTube channels, and then also there's some great printables in it so you can make your own projects. Also, thank you to all my new subscribers who came here through her recommendation. I hope you'll enjoy my videos. I like to do tutorial style videos, and who knows where I'll go. I just kind of just been flying by the seat of my pants. So today I am going to do, I hope it's one more video, but we'll see how time works in my pocket stuffer series. And this one I was going to do all the sewing before the video started, but this one's really so heavy and you'll miss pretty much the whole thing if I don't do it on camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this. What we're gonna do today is a lot of different notepad styles, and I'm sure, you know, notepads are everywhere. I'm not saying mine are typically very unique. I just kind of sketched up some ideas and went with it. So we're going to do a couple of those. So I just took a piece of lace, and I hope y'all can see. I'm not sure what you can see. Maybe I should stand up. I have a little piece of lace, and then this is something I did when I was quilting, and it's just like one little piece, and it's probably leftovers from a quilt I made, so I decided to use it. So all I did was cut a piece of cardstock to fit this piece of fabric, and I'm sorry the sewing machine's in the way. I don't know where to put it right now because I'm about to use it. So first thing I'm going to do is just take some of the Fabri-Tac and put it just kind of in the center. Okay, I'm back. I had to turn the camera off because my dog started barking. I usually film way earlier in the morning, but it took me a very long time to get ready for this video. That's why I'm thinking it might be too long of a video. Sorry if you hear my dog eating in the background. I gave him food so he had stopped barking. Okay, so I'm just going to sew down this on the sides with a zigzag stitch. But I'm not going to do the top because I'm going to sew the lace and the papers on. This is my daughter's sewing machine. I use it for my paper sewing. I have my Good Quilter machine in the kitchen on my dining room table. That's my sewing area. I will say it's a lot different to sew through paper than it is fabric. Just, it doesn't move around the same. Paper tends to slide around a whole lot more than fabric does. Ooh, I did something wrong. I got lots of extra strings coming out. There we go. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to sew along the bottom. I think I'm going to leave the bottom done. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is sew around the edge of the bottom, what will be the bottom piece. So, and I forgot to mention, I kind of cut all of these to fit into the book page, not the book page pocket, but the first pocket that I showed in my pocket with the faux stitching. This one, I kind of cut everything to fit in it. The sewing machine will be moved soon, and then y'all can see everything better. Okay, so this is all of our pages, and I just cut them down to fit into the book. So just to kind of keep them together, I'm going to do a quick stitch across the top of them, just a regular straight stitch. I'm not even going all the way across because I'm just kind of doing it to keep them together. Okay, So I'm going to put it at the top. I'm sorry, better get in camera. You won't be able to see what I'm doing. But put it at the top. And then I will put this directly. You know what? I think we're gonna do this. Sorry, I keep changing my mind, but when you go to do it, then you're like, maybe that's not a good idea. So I've clipped that at the bottom so that doesn't move. And now I'm gonna take our lace, I hope I'm staying in frame, and put our lace right over this part here. Okay. And then I'm just going to do a really slow zigzag because I have a lot of layers here. So let's hope I don't break the needle. All right, let's. All right, well, I didn't break the needle, so that's good. Okay, so we have just the front of our little notepad. And now we will just, I'm going to use a straight stitch and stitch that onto the back. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move the sewing machine out of the way. I'll be right back. All right, so I have the sewing machine moved out of the way now. And this is just a little notepad right here. I'm gonna bend it a little right here. Okay, and so then you just have your little place for all your little notes, and you could put another decoration here. I'm not going to right now. And this just slides in the pocket like this. So that's our first notepad, we're done. Now the second notepad I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bee journal eventually. I went crazy. Artie Mae's had a sale and I went crazy at her sale. So I bought all kinds of stuff and the bee journal was one of the things I bought. So definitely gonna be making a bee journal soon. I'm looking for I thought I had everything out. Just when you think you're all prepared, you find out you're really not. I had to make sure the camera was rolling. Okay. So I'm going to use some of this Distress Oxide spray that I've had and haven't used yet. And this is just some corrugated cardboard. This was in some packaging that I got. And I like it because it's lighter weight. I had cut a piece the first time, but it was just, I mean, it's super thick. You can kind of see the difference. So this one's like way, way thinner. So I'm just going to use this Distress Oxide spray in Fossilized Amber. I'm gonna shake it up really well and hopefully it won't go everywhere. So I'm just going to spray it. And this is going to be the back. Ooh, okay. I might have gone a little bit crazy with it. We're going to let that dry. Okay, so we're going to let that dry a little bit. Hopefully y'all won't hear my dogs bark. They really are not cooperating with me today. I don't know what their problem is. So let's let that dry. I know what it is. It's like, it's later in the day and they're usually like this, but for what we're going to do on the front, I just cut a piece of book page. Well, I didn't cut it, I tore it. And I'm just going to put some collage medium on the front. I hope everyone's having a great day today. I am. I don't know, I'm just worn out. Cut the grass yesterday. It's supposed to be a hurricane coming. Fixed everything up, and so far it hasn't even rained, which, I mean, that's a blessing too. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so this is a napkin. And I'm not even sure what colors are in the bee journal because I haven't printed it out yet. I ordered some paper off Amazon that's not copy paper, like some matte photo paper to try to print things on. So we'll see. My printer's not very good anyway, so we'll see what happens. All right, so now I'm going to let that dry. While it's wet, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this bee on it though. I better put a little bit more glue under him. Ooh, maybe not. He's like, I'm stuck. We'll put some glue on top of him. I love when you think something isn't stuck until you try to move it and then you're like, oh yeah, it's stuck. Okay, while that's, I'm scared, I don't want to tear the book page, but I want to tear the napkin while it's still wet because I really want that really jagged, torn edge along with the edge on the book page too. Okay. All right, I like that. Let me kind of hit the sides down. Ooh, picking up extra napkin. I hope I turned the camera back on. Okay, I did. I might have already checked that. I don't know, I'm losing it today. Okay. All right, so now this is still a little bit wet, but what I'm going to do is on the back, I'm just going to put this little bumblebee. He's so cute. Put him on there. That's just going to be like under the pages of our little notepad. Okay, so we're just going, since this one has to dry a little bit, we're going to set this one to the side and let it dry, and we will move on to our next notebook. And hopefully I will remember to rinse this brush. I always forget. I ruined one. And then the last time I said this on a video, I was editing the video and I heard me say it and I hurried up and jumped up and went and washed my brush. So if I forget, maybe while I'm editing, I'll remember. Okay, so then our next one is going to be a little notepad. And basically it is made with a doily. Now this notepad would fit in like this, okay? And this is the top and we're gonna finish it up, but wanted to show you what it looks like. So that's what it will look like. Okay, so this is our notepad. I used the a paper sack and I just cut it up, and then these are just some regular papers. I wanted to leave this one kind of white. I am going to ink it up just a little. Now, last time I said I was going to ink something up a little, I ended up doing it a whole lot. So let's just try to do it just a little. I just want it to kind of go with the little brown in the sack. Okay. And we'll ink this up a little. All right. And this is just a little bit too neat for me, so I'm just going to tear some of the bottom edges of the paper and then ink them a little bit. This is a really pretty piece of paper that I found in my stash. I've probably had it literally 20 years. Maybe not that long, maybe 17 years. Anyway, I've had it a really long time. I don't even know where it came from. All right, there. After I said I wasn't gonna ink it, I inked it anyway. So let's just put everything back together. Now this one, since we tore some of the edges, you wanna make sure you put the right side together. And I am just going to, and this is not a new idea. This is not my idea. I just saw it somewhere, and I'm just is just a grouping of similar ideas of what you can put in the pockets of your journal. Okay? Just my take on them, how I would decorate them and such. So I'm just going to take this bigger hole here, and we're going to punch 2 holes right beside each other, sort of. Okay, I don't think I centered that very well. Yeah, don't tell anybody, okay? I had some ribbon set out, and just because, there it is. I was like, just because I need it, now I can't find it. All right, so this is just, who knows, I've probably had this 100 Years too. My husband makes fun of me because I say I've had everything 100 years or a zillion years. So we're just gonna thread that through here. And you could have done the holes further apart. It's a personal preference. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot. And you could do a bow, but I just want to do a knot. And then for this one, just for a little added decoration, we're just gonna put this little clip right there in the center. Okay. Now I wanted to make one similar to this one, but I wanted to make it where it would fit the other way in the pocket. So I grabbed a die that I have in my die cuts. I have lots of dies. And I'm not sure who makes this. I think it might be Sizzix, but it had like a little doily edge on it, so I decided to use it. And this is a coffee filter. This is one of the avocado dyed coffee filters. And then I have a piece of rice paper. So I'm just gonna take the rice paper and ink it. And I have a thicker sheet of cardstock I put to be the backing. I'm just going to ink it a little bit. Okay. And I think all of them I pretty much put 5 pages in because you don't want anything super thick. So for this one, we are just going to, we're gonna just glue, oops, we're just gonna glue all these together. So those are all glued together. And then we're going to, and if I have time, we'll go back and decorate some of these. I'm just trying to right now not make this video like super long. Put a little glue on this side, flip it over, put a little glue on this side, and I just cut the edges to match, or cut the paper to match how large the doily was. Okay, so then I just have one of these little baby clips that I had colored with some patinas. I have a video on that. I'll link it at the end. And there we go. Now, this really is screaming for decoration. So we'll go ahead and decorate it real quick while because the other stuff's kind of drying. So let's see, I have, these may be all too gigantic. Do we want a butterfly? Butterfly would be pretty. Let's see what butterflies I have. This little book I made right after I started junk journaling. And I kind of sewed the things in weird. And so some of it's a little torn, but all right. That one doesn't really fit well. Let's see what else I have. I like these clear butterflies. I like it. Let's see. Okay, that works. Let's glue that down. I'm gonna use a little Fabri-Tac to glue that down. It's one of the little transparent wings by Tim Holtz. And I'm just gonna glue it right at the edge. For now. But anyway, I'm just gonna show you, if you put the little clips down on the binder clip, this tiny binder clip, it will slide into the pockets. All right, let's see if the B one is ready. And I really apologize if you can hear my dog barking. He is unhappy. I don't know why. He's in the room with my daughter. He has no reason to be unhappy. He's ready for my husband to get home. It's his dog, and he loves my husband. Okay. So this one, we're just going to, now we're going to ink around the edges. And because you can kind of see that corrugated cardboard, the lines through it, let's go ahead and ink the whole thing. I really like that look. Okay, and then because this is very yellow, we're just going to go and hit those high points with this ink to kind of tone it down a little bit. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is kind of the same thing we did on one of our other notebooks. I have some paper in here, and we are just going to put that on top of that corrugated cardboard. This is going to be our cover, and we are just going to punch some holes. And then we are going to tie it up. Now I have some linen thread that I had messed up when I was doing a binding, so I'm going to reuse it. It already has a knot in the middle, and I'm just going to put that knot right here in the middle, and then I'll show you. I'm going to go in both sides with the ends, so it's a doubled up piece. Okay, and then in the back I'm going to cross it over and then go back in the opposite hole. Okay, there we go. And now I'm just going to tie a knot. It's funny when I'm looking for something, because on the video I'll be looking everywhere for it, and when I go back to edit it, I'm like, dummy, it's sitting right in front of you. So here's all the beautiful pages for that little notebook, and this is how it would fit in our pocket. I should say they're notepads. There we go. So there's one more. For this one, what I did was I cut a tag. These are step tag dies that scrapbook.com sells, and I used the larger tag, and I just ran it through my embossing folder, and then I stitched around the edges. And then this is, like I said, a step down, and this is some old scrapbook paper I had. It's a really thin weight paper, and all I did was coffee dye it to kind of tone it down some. So what we're going to do with it is, let's see, is I'm going to score it. And the reason I'm going to score it is just because we're going to stitch at the top, and I want to make sure they kind of fold right. So right here where the points are is what I'm going to try to score along. Hope those tags kind of fold where I want them to. I'm gonna go and do a quick fold on them. And some of these I put the tags upside down, so the coffee stain side will show, and some of them I did right side up, so the pattern side shows, just, you know, just to make it a little bit more interesting. This, I got them all out of order. All right. Now I have to remember where I hid that stuff for myself, because I'm going to need it again. And I already have some embroidery thread ready. Rachel at Roxy Creations really had me in the mood to do some hand sewing, and I did some hand sewing last night and made some pretty things for I don't know what, because I really don't have a plan with any of them. Now this needle might be a bad idea, because it is a really big needle. My knot went way higher than I needed it to, but whatever. All right, so let me make sure I have these in the order I want them in. And I'm gonna place them right across that line. Let me clip them together. Yeah, I'm gonna use these small little sewing clips I have. They're not as heavy. Okay, so where I had scored them, I'm just gonna put this right across that line, and then I am going to come up from the back. Okay, so there's our stitch, and we're just going to knot this in the back. In the back, you know, you could put something over the back, like some coffee dyed paper, which I'll probably do just to cover all this up. That way you won't see all this in the back. Okay. All right, so there's our little notepad, and the tags that's why we did our thing before, because it just helps it to flip up. That one didn't get that one didn't get put in the right spot. Yeah, there we go. Now I did go ahead and pick some things for decorations for this one. We're going to put this right here. Kind of covers up our stitching a little bit, but all right. And now our very last one. Hopefully this video isn't too horribly long. I'll edit some of it out. I have everything prepared for this. So now this, I did get inspiration from Rachel at Roxy Creations. She did a little trifold thing, and this is what I decided I wanted to make, and she kind of did do a few variations at the end, and one of her variations was making a little notepad. So this is just kind of my take on her project, and I'm not going to do all of this now, but this is my vision for this paper. This is just some embossed scrapbooking paper that I've had, and this is tumbled glass. And I'm just going to ink up the high spot. This ink pad is not very juicy. I might do some ink dragging. There we go. I don't know if I like that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but we're gonna do it anyways. Anyway, I really like it here. It's pretty. Okay, so sometimes what you had planned just isn't what happens, right? Okay, that's good enough. And I'll come back maybe with some vintage photo. Now for this one, I cut this paper 4 inches so it'll fit in our pocket by 8 3/4 inches. Now I am a measurer. I'm not a person who doesn't measure things. So I did measure this out. Now I do want my I'll do that second. I forgot I gotta score it first. Okay, so I have my scoreboard, and you could just do this, eyeball this. Like I said, I'm not good at that. So I did score this at, oh, I'm hiding things for myself again. Okay, 8, no, it's 8 3/4, and I scored it at 1 1/4. And then I scored it at 3 7/8. And then again at 6 1/2, which is right over here on the end. Okay. Now after you get that all scored, we're gonna fold it. But first I wanted to tear my, where my pocket opening's gonna be. Let me get this where I can do this the way I want to. I don't know if anybody makes this anymore. This is an old tear ruler that I have had since I sold Stampin' Up. Let's hope I don't rip this whole thing, because I would cry. This paper's kind of thick, so, and I'm tearing a teeny tiny piece off. All right, so the tear ruler's not working, and I don't feel like fighting it, so we're just going to tear with our hands. It's just because I'm tearing such a small piece off that it doesn't want to cooperate. All right. Now we're just going to fold over the fold lines. Okay, so when you close it up, it will look like this. And I don't want to embellish it too much because it is going to go in a pocket. So what I'm going to do is I've cut these to be little like tuck spots on the inside. So we're just going to glue the zigzag edge will be the edge where the tag goes in. And I am just going to put it down here. Right here on the end. And it overhangs a little bit, but we can trim that off. This is where our notepad's gonna go, and I already cut my papers. I cut them just a little bit shorter than the opening and then a little shorter than the notebook. And we're just going to glue those in with some Fabri-Tac because it's really thick, and I just used my sewing machine to sew those together. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. And we're just gonna glue that in the center of that opening as much as we can. And hopefully this works once everything's in it. It still folds up properly because, of course, I didn't try this before I made it. The idea, you know, whatever. I never try things before I make them on camera. That's gonna come back and get me later. I just know it. But I love doing things for the first time, and I'm really bad about I make something once and then I don't make it again. I don't know why. I need to stop doing that. Okay, so we're going to put, this is our other pocket, and I just put glue on 3 sides. And what I did for the little tag, these I had with some collage paper I had done a while back, and then I just stitched on them, and those will go in the pockets, but of course I cut them wrong. I did them 4 inches. I forgot the pockets would be shorter. So I'm just gonna cut them now, and then I'll go back and re-sew them. This one I may be able to, and I did round the corners on them. This one I may be able to salvage. Nope, gotta do it, gotta cut the sewing off. There we go. So that one goes in there. I'll just have to re-sew that, and then I'll cut off about 1/4 of an inch on this one, and I will also go back and I'll cut off a little bit more on that one. Okay, so there we go. All right, now make sure it's all stuck down, and then it just closes up. Okay, so there it is. And to close it, instead of having a an eyelet or anything in it, we're just going to use, oops, I'm gonna also get some of this pretty ribbon that I hoarded forever. Let's get some of this silk ribbon, and we're just going to do a simple tie closure. You could decorate this. Like I said, I'm trying to make the video not be too long. So here's this one, and this would go in your pocket like this. Okay. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed all the notepads we made today. Here they are again. I'll take pictures of them, but this video may be super long, so I may have to shorten it. But I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have, oops, I forgot this one. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks a lot. Bye.